we've been talking for months and I had no idea he was a scammer. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to talk all about scammers. Red flags, what to look for, things to avoid, all of that. Stay tuned. Hey girl, I'm Nicole and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you want to learn how to date well, how to not waste time with the wrong guy, and how to position yourself to be found by the man of your prayers, then subscribe and hit the notification bell because I make videos every week and I don't want you to miss a thing. So unfortunately, plus size women can be targeted by scammers because in the scammer's mind, they want to look for women who they feel are more vulnerable or women who they feel are more anxious to find love. This can also include older women, divorcees. Today, we're going to be talking about in terms of the plus size woman. I had a good friend who unfortunately was scammed. She, thank God, realized sooner than later that it was a scam. However, this guy was quite convincing. So I'm going to share her story with the hopes of helping someone else be able to determine those red flags earlier. So disclaimer, when I give you these tips regarding things to look out for a scam, I am not saying that if someone checks off 1 or 2 items on this list and they are a scam. However, you have to use discernment and look at the bigger picture and just trust your judgment or your inner voice. Okay, so this friend, she created a profile and one day this really attractive guy messaged her. She was so excited, so she actually looked on his profile and she saw these professional looking photographs. He was beautiful teeth, well-groomed hair. He was posing with a horse. I mean, really beautiful guy and pictures. However, there were only 2 of them. So for tip number 1, if someone only has a minimum of 1 or 2 pictures and they look professional, almost like an advertisement, that is a red flag. Those pictures probably can be found somewhere else on the internet. So I guess we should give this guy, this scammer, a name. We'll just call him Jason. So after chatting with this guy online for a little bit, he disclosed that unfortunately he lived out of state, but he worked on but he was a mechanical engineer, and so flying to visit her was not a problem. He said that if they hit it off, it would be great. He can visit. My next tip is to examine the guy's profile. If he has high education or high socioeconomic status and lives out of state or maybe out of the country, that is a red flag. And sometimes scammers also use and sometimes scammers also will say, I'm out of the country, I'm in the army, I'm in the Navy, or any kind of armed forces, because that will eliminate the need for actually meeting in person. Jason had a really thick accent, and he said it was because he was from Poland. Tip is, if the scammer says they're from another country, you notice a lot of grammatical errors on their profile or a strong thick accent, that may indicate that you're potentially being scammed. So after my friend went back and forth conversing with Jason only for a few weeks, he immediately said that he felt a deep, strong emotional connection, almost like a divine intervention that brought them closer together. So my next tip is, if the scammer professes love or is enamored right off the bat, or if they're overly flattering and devoted to you immediately, that's a red flag. So further down the line, my friend and Jason continued their courtship, and it was time to possibly plan a trip for Jason to come and visit my friend. And unfortunately, something came up. He had a huge last minute meeting that he had to meet with ambassadors from another country in regards to his business. So my next tip is, if the man, i.e. the scammer, says he wants to meet you, but unfortunately something always comes up, that's a sign he's trying to scam you, girl. So Jason learned that my friend is a Christian and she takes her faith seriously. And somehow Jason just happened to be of not only the same faith, but the same denomination of my friend. He shared that he was so glad that God brought them together and that he wanted to do Bible studies. So he literally would call every evening to do a Bible study. These scammers are getting so much more creative. Like, who has the time for that? But if his profession is to scam, he's gonna invest in his profession. My next tip is pay attention to any coincidental similarities. Unfortunately, they can be used to help facilitate you letting your guard down. Tip is to avoid oversharing any personal details about yourself, like where you work, where you attend church, any of those things that can be used against you to create a false sense of closeness. So eventually my friend got on to Jason and started wanting to do more research. So what she did was she reverse Google searched his picture, and lo and behold, they were ads. So my friend confronted Jason, and of course he denied, but her block game is strong, so she blocked him, and that was the rest of that. And everything that we experience is a life lesson. So from that, she learned how to better critique future profiles to avoid going down that same road. Now that we've talked all about how to spot a potential scammer, in my next video, we're going to talk about how to spot a good profile. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I don't want you to miss that video. And while you wait for that, be sure to check out these other videos right here. And as always, let's elevate our lives together. Later.